You'd swear Deputy Minister Phuti Manamela, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education, is watching Date My Family. He's probably a fan of Sunday shows on that channel, 161. Thereafter, you'd probably watch our Perfect Weddings, eh? Sunday chilling. Why I'm saying that, yesterday in the SONA reply, while he was dissing Julius Malema, he basically said that Julius Malema has a backbone of a Malba pudding. So you'd know that in one of the menus in that programs, suddenly 90% of that show, all the host would have is a Malba pudding. So the ANC now, its duty, the elders, the pensioners of the ANC, what they normally do, each and every SONA reply, right? They send their youth in parliament in order to tackle the economic freedom fighters. Each and every SONA. I'm saying they send their youth. Yes, the youth are supposed to be 35 years old, but I mean, I'm talking about folks who are average 40-year-old. They are deemed to be youths. The acting minister in the presidency, Ndivo Ntaveni, I hope I'm not butchering the name and surname there. She was also in the parliament swinging a baton and uppercuts and all these right hooks at Julius Malema, right? And it stems back from the African National Congress elders. I mean, you do know that even the minister who's the Disaster Management Act is under her, Minister Dlamini Zuma. She's a pensioner. She's a brilliant example of the people whom are supposed to be at home. You know, the over 60-year-olds who are supposed to be home because they are susceptible to the coronavirus by their standard. But these are the elders who are in the ANC government. And one shouldn't forget about the Minister of Justice, Ronald Lamola. His previous SONA also, he was sent by the ANC elder as the youth to tackle the EFF SONA reply, right? Even the other previous one where Phuti Manamela insinuated that basically Julius Malema is an Adolf Hitler. He quoted when Adolf Hitler was giving his fiery speeches at the beer halls when it started, and nobody noticed that and said that this was sort of an innocent thing. Hitler will not go anywhere, and what we're having now. So now, actually, there's no ANC Youth League. Remember, it was reduced to an office desk, and it died its death during former President Jacob Zuma. I remember when Jacob Zuma was having, I think it was the January 8th statement, the rally in FNB. And at the same time, the ANC Youth League also were having their conference to vote for their leader. And President Jacob Zuma then, after finishing giving his speech for January 8th, he then hurriedly went to the press conference. I remember when Floyd Shibambo was there in the ANC Youth League. I don't know what he muttered, which prompted Jacob Zuma to turn and look at him and obviously said in Zulu, which is translated as, "Are you speaking to me? Are you speaking to me?" And Floyd Shibambo just whimpered away. So the ANC Youth League is done, and it's kind of ironic to find out that uh, Ndivuo, the acting minister in the presidency, she's in the NEC of the ANC Youth League. She also was tasked to reorganize and bring back the ANC Youth League back to life. And it's not happening. So basically, the ANC doesn't have a viable youth organization, and they are quickly moving north of, being over 65 to 75. It sort of remind me of, I think it was Japan or China, due to this stringent laws of having one child policy. You get to a situation where the productive part of the community in the republic grows, get old, and now are dying, and then you don't have the youths that would come up quickly to replace them and close the rank. But to be fair, obviously, the ANC Youth League now are in red overalls, honestly speaking, because all the policies of the ANC Youth League were, they left with the EFF, and now the EFF comes to the parliament and espouse those policies of the ANC mother body, putting ANC in some intense pressure. The issue of the land expropriation without compensation, they've pushed it so hard to such an extent that the ANC, because it normally is in the middle of the road when it comes to this position, it forced the ANC to agree with the EFF, and now you have that policy being about to be passed in parliament, and the list goes on and on and on. And the sad part with the rebuttals of the ANC, so-called ANC's youths in the parliament, is that most of it, unfortunately, it's personal attacks, and it's not an attack on issues. As you know, that the ANC is a huge and a rigid ship. Sort of remind me of that huge ship that they said would not sink. So when it turns very slowly in order to effect changes, and it is plagued with infightings right now as we speak. So even now, it's still hard to defend the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, talking tough against fraud and corruptions, where else even folks who are close to him, like the minister, the spokesperson of Cyril Ramaphosa, whom her husband is embroiled in allegations of fraud and corruption in the PPEs, and a whole lot of allies of Cyril Ramaphosa also are embroiled in this scandals of the PPEs. And at the same time, while he's talking tough to most of the folks who are on the side of the president, when it's time to criticize the Jacob Zuma and as well as Esma Hashule's faction for alleged fraud and corruption on PPEs. So he'll be talking tough against the PPEs, corruptions and fraud. And then the next second, folks who are deemed to be his allies would then be involved in the same fraud and corruption. So that's just how it stands right now. And the acting minister in the Minister Nthaveni spoke about the performance agreement of the cabinet that they're still working on. I think it's something that they've been speaking about for the last 3 years. Nothing will happen. And she also spoke emphatically about the national planning committee for the national development plan and how they are going to actually and eventually actualize it. Whereas the NDP was set to be effected in 2030. All the good governance and the good policies that they wrote down. And I think they've been talking about this from the early 2000s. So yeah, in 2021, 9 years is left. Nothing has been done. And then on the other side, the very same NDP policies clashes with the African National Congress NASREC resolutions, because the NDP is basically middle of the road capitalism slash liberal progressive programs of. On the other side, the NASREC conference's resolutions are communistic and socialistic in nature. So as a result, this battle has just been happening throughout, and then it eventually is rendering the ANC to be rigid, frozen, and not even move forward. Anyway, that's my take. My name is Mamuji, and thanks for watching the Mamuji Show, and I'm out.